டவர்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாமா?
Ma'am, Shivashankari ma'am. Ma'am, is it possible for you to unmute? Ma'am, Shivashankari ma'am.
சொல்லுமா தன்மைதான் குடிக்குது.
Hello, madam. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Because
It is
madam,
audible, sir.
because madam said that audio is not clear, so I
Yes,
thought
yes.
I'll check. Thank
Yeah, yes, sir. We'll, I think it's now 2, sir. We will start the session. Ma'am, Shivashankari, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can start, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. A warm good afternoon. A warm good afternoon to all. I am Dr. A. Shivashankari, Associate Professor, Department of English. It's my privilege to welcome you all for this FDP program on the topic anti-money laundering provisions and its relevance. On behalf of SA College of Arts and Science, I welcome all ladies and gentlemen, galaxy of intellectuals, invited resource person, Mr. Ravindra Singh Chawla, founder and managing partner, RSC Skill Building and Consulting Solutions LLP, faculty members, and all the participants from different prestigious colleges across India. A smile is a universal welcome. I wholeheartedly welcome you all for the program. Kindly stay with us till the end of the session and answer the quiz, which is mandatory to receive the certificates. Now I forward the session to you, sir. The session is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to all the participants. Namaskar, Vanakkam. It's indeed a pleasure being here with you all once again. Start of a new week, Monday today, and we just have 3 more sessions to go, including today. Today we are going to be learning about a very important topic, which is about, I'll just share the screen, which is the anti-money laundering provisions and the relevance thereof. Today we shall also be, towards the end of the session, we'll have an open house wherein whatever doubts you may have, those could get cleared. And as of now, the number of participants are very less. I'm hopeful that as we proceed, we'll have more and more people joining in, because I wanted, we should also be discussing about, a certain part of the debt. No issues, even if we can't do it today, we'll do that tomorrow or day after. But still, given the time, we'll try and do that today. Okay? But first of all, let me share with you the scores of the quiz in terms of the leaderboard. So I'm going to be sharing with you the names of top 23 participants, right? With cumulative scores out of 20 for the 4 days of sessions that we have had, right? So these are the scores in front of you. I would want to congratulate all these, dignitaries, Dr. Pandurangan, Shanmugam, Sasidharan, for full marks. So they have scored full marks, 20 on 20. Heartiest congratulations to you all. That's indeed a big achievement. I don't know whether you are there in the session or not, but I must congratulate you and applaud you for this resounding success of yours. Looking forward to the same going forward also. In fact, actually today's quiz is super easy, and I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to score full marks today. So the answers to today's quiz would lie in the presentation itself and what I'm going to talk about. So please be attentive. And I think today's quiz is going to be the easiest of all the quizzes that we have had till now. So the leaderboard also mentions about a lot of other people who have scored 19, 18, 17, and 16 marks as of now, right? So there are 23 people. My heartiest congratulations to these participants as well. In fact, we would have had more number of participants with full marks, because there are some participants who scored full marks for 3 days, but on one of the 4 days they were not present, it seems, or they did not take the quiz. So unfortunately, because of that, they missed out. But otherwise, for the 3 days of quiz that they took, they scored 100% marks. So my congratulations to all of you. So this is what it is. All right. So let's quickly go through the learning objectives of our today's session. We shall be learning about the money laundering. What exactly is money laundering? We'll then learn about the provisions of the Anti-Money Laundering Act, actually. So it's called as the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, right? So this was brought in force to make sure that all necessary steps are taken to arrest any attempts to launder money. So we'll learn about the provisions of the anti-money laundering and combating financing of terrorism, CFT. So AML stroke CFT provisions. And then we learn about the Financial Intelligence Unit of India, FIU India, and Financial Action Task Force also. We shall then learn about FATCA and common reporting standards, right? So Financial Accounting Compliance Act and the common reporting standards. Financial Accounting Tax Compliance Act, FATCA. All right. So let me ask you, what do we mean by money laundering? Please write in the chat box. What do you mean by money laundering? Awesome. It's a process of changing large amount of money obtained from crime, drug trafficking, placement of dirty money. Awesome. Super awesome. Well done, Poonamallee madam, as always. Fantastic. Yeah. So as you could see in the picture, it is the attempt to wash, dirty money, or what we normally call as black money, right? Unaccounted money. Money which may have been earned through nefarious means, right? On which people are not paying taxes. This income is not been accounted for, right? So any attempt to launder money is actually, you know, an attempt to contribute towards the crime. So every country today is trying to take steps so as to be able to arrest this particular thing, right? So money laundering is, as we will see here, is moving the illegally occupied or illegally acquired money into the financial system so as to make it become clean or make it become authentic or legitimate, right? So that's what money laundering is all about. So it's like washing dirty money or black money to make it clean or make it become white, right? That's what money laundering means. So this is just an example. As you could see here, these people are trying to they are getting black money, and then they are trying to wash the money so as to make it become clean, right? Now let's learn about this concept through different examples. How is it that some people may have been trying to launder money, right? Can you give some examples, please? How could then some people try and launder money? Give me some examples. How would they try and do that? Let's learn it with examples. So please give me some examples. Please cite some examples whereby some people may have been so halting international drug. Okay. Any other example, please? So what we'll do is we'll learn it through three different categories of examples. One is how would people try to launder money by depositing money, cash money in the bank account, right? That's one. B, we will learn about how could they try and launder money using their bank accounts, right? And the third one, how could they try and launder money through investments by making investments into mutual funds, insurance, etc., etc. Right? All right. So just imagine if someone tries to make large deposits in cash, right? This person is trying to make large deposits, but in smaller, transactions, right? For example, somebody tries to deposit cash up to 49,999 because more than 50,000 you will require PAN, right? So this person is trying to act smart. What he does is that he may deposit small the currency notes in denominations up to 49,999, and that too in different banks, in different cities maybe, right? So he may have been attempting to deposit, let's say 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 5 crore, etc. But in smaller transactions, right? It could be that attempt. Okay. Again, somebody may be trying to push through certain counterfeit notes, right? While depositing cash. So just just imagine, even let's say if the person is making these transactions of multiple denominations of 49,999 up to 49,999, he also tries to pass through certain counterfeit notes, right? Now, while counting and all that, I mean, it's quite possible that these currency notes don't really come out as counterfeit notes, and he's able to push through into these notes into the banking system, right? Or somebody who may have been, getting large amount of money from some other country, right? And the instructions are being given that deposit this money in India. Say you may have come across some messages or some emails whereby somebody tells you that I am from Nigeria, or I am from Kenya, or I am from US, and my husband has left me these many million rupees, 400 million rupees, with the desire of setting up some donating this money to India. So please help me, I want to donate this money for some social cause, right? Please give me your account number, I want to deposit this money to your account. Have you come across such messages or such news items? Please write in the chat box. Have you come across such messages? I have indeed come across such messages, of course, in the spam folder of the mailbox, because the email does segregate these kind of mails as spam mails, right? So have you come across such mails or such messages whereby somebody says that I want to deposit this much huge amount of money for some social cause? Please give me your account number, I'll be happy depositing it, right? Again, it would be some drug lord from some other country or someone else who's trying to utilize you or trying to use you as the supporter, to be able to deposit huge money, right? Many times on Discovery Channel, Discovery Channel, there's a program which comes whereby they show airport of Colombia, right? Where some people are trying to sneak through drugs, right? They're trying to travel from Colombia to some other country, and they're trying to pass through the customs with drugs, etc., and they get caught, right? So again, this is a big racket. This is a big crime which is there, right? Again, someone may be trying to deposit huge amount of money through in cash through the ATM machines, right? Now, this is absolutely a transaction which happens without a person being involved, where the cashier being without the cashier being involved, right? So nobody will ask them the PAN card. Nobody will ask them for any documents, right? So all these kind of things may have been attempts or maybe attempts to sneak in or allow black money or unaccounted money into the system, right? So this is an example of a newspaper report. So see, in this, a banker, she was duped of rupees 1 lakh in an online fraud, and see, she was told that I want to come to India to make donations, and I want to deposit this huge amount of money to you, right? So in this case, instead of actually giving money, she would have said that I'm stuck at the airport, or while I was trying to send money, they want some tax. So please deposit this much amount of money. So I'm transferring to you 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, right? So they want an amount of 1 lakh rupees as tax. So please deposit, right? Now this person would have become greedy, this lady, and she would have thought that, okay, I'm going to get 50 lakh rupees. So what if I pay just 1 lakh rupees, right? And obviously that person had bad intentions. Again, let's look at some more example. So through bank accounts, how is it done? So we understood about cash. Now let us look at how is it done through bank accounts, right? So here the person would be depositing money in the bank account. Now you may recall that when demonetization happened, a lot of people, they had a lot of cash with them, huge amount of money they had with cash. So what they did was that they deposited this money in the bank account of the maid, bank account of the driver, bank account of the peon, right? So certainly the bankers found out that people who were having zero balance accounts for months altogether, right? Suddenly their bank accounts were flushed with through 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakh rupees, right? So suddenly, because 500 and 1000 rupee currency notes were getting demonetized, a lot of people were trying to deposit money in the bank accounts of other people, right? Who actually did not have a very high source of income, right? So just like the example which I gave you, otherwise this account had been dormant, but suddenly, people try to, or somebody tries to deposit money into their bank account. Okay. Now just imagine they would have told the driver that I will give you money in cash. Okay, so they would have told the driver that fine, I'm depositing 2 lakh rupees in your bank account. Later on, after a few months, I'll have it withdrawn. But to reward you for this support of yours, I'll give you 1000 rupees. Right? So this person is happy getting 1000 rupees and is allowing someone to use his bank account. Right? Okay. Similarly, yeah. So third party checks for transaction. Now let me explain it to you. Let's say I tell you that, I am having some problem. I have not got my professional fees from the program which I did 2 months back, blah, 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 blah. I use some emotional appeal and I say that, see, I have to deposit my children's school fees. Okay. And I tell you that what you do is you please, directly transfer to the school a fees of, let's say, 50,000 rupees, just for example. And I give you that money in cash, right? I say I don't have money in my bank account, but I have money in cash. So you pay to my children's school, right? You pay through check, and I will give you the amount in cash. Okay. Now just imagine, right now in this session, there are 41 participants on Zoom. Just imagine if I were to do this with all 40 people, right? 50,000 each, or even let's say 10,000 rupees. Even 10,000 rupees. Now you have money in your bank account and you say that Ravinder otherwise is a good person. Fine, it does not make a difference to me. I will pay the amount in check and he will pay me in cash. And I immediately pay you in cash. So you say, I have not lost anything. He has given me money in cash. I've got my money. I have not lost anything, right? And you pay the amount through your check. Now just imagine, let's say 40 people, I do with everyone 10,000 rupees. Okay. For I am able to, make 4 lakh rupees, 10,000 multiplied by 40. I am able to dispense 4 lakh rupees into the banking system. How? You pay 10,000 rupees in check, right? But I have given you 10,000 rupees in cash, right? Now you have legitimate sources of income. Your money is absolutely white. But when I give you cash, you will spend that money, right? Now when you spend that money, the money gets into the system. Shopkeeper will put that money in the bank account, right? So I would have been able to place this cash or place my unaccounted money, right? I'm just giving an example to you. I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't have even a single penny of cash with me. I'm just giving an example to you, right? So I would have been able to get this black money into the banking system, right? Similarly, there could be a lot of customers, just like I gave you this example. They use cash transactions for in case of foreign exchange also, right? So, for example, let's say we are 4 friends or 10 friends, Okay, so we go to different bank accounts, right? We go to different bank accounts and we may deposit money in dollars, right? And through different tellers of or cashiers of the bank account, we deposit money in the bank, right? So we would have been able to place this dirty money into the system. Again, some people trying to avoid the bank officials, right? So I do not come directly to the bank. I deposit money through the ATM machine. I do not want the bank officials to be able to contact me, right? So because my intentions are not clear, I may be a criminal. Just for example purposes, because this program is going to be available on YouTube also. I don't want somebody else to think that, hey, he's a criminal. He's saying I'm a criminal. Okay. So unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm saying some chartered accountants also, some very few of them, they have, had a bad reputation of supporting their customers, right? Convert their cash into properly legitimate money, right? This is why when demonetization happened, right? After demonetization happened, the Prime Minister had a meeting with the chartered accountants. A seminar was organized and the PM addressed the chartered accountants. Now, as you could see here, this is what he said. And I'm sharing the newspaper cutting with you, right? He said that chartered accountants have a very important role in creating black money free India, right? So unfortunately, this has been a problem which is there, right? Now, why is it that we all can play a role in ensuring that this gets eliminated is what we shall also discuss. Okay? Again, how does black money get into the system? Through investments, right? Let's say somebody trying to invest in mutual funds, insurance, stock market, etc. For example, you may invest in mutual fund or insurance using cash, right? You pay premium using cash. You invest money in the mutual funds using cash, right? Now, once it has got into the system, it has become white money. It's become legitimate money, because when you are withdrawing money, the mutual fund company or the insurance company will pay through bank account or through checks, right? So this way, I may have been able to convert my black money into white. Okay. Similarly, my income may only be 50,000 rupees, but I may have been making investments worth 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, right? Unfortunately, nowadays, there are a lot of people who have started the business of donations. So they are in a charity business. Believe you me, almost every week I get 3-4 calls, and I'm sure you also would have been getting calls from many people. So they will say that, child is unwell, she needs to be operated upon, they belong to a poor family, the surgery will cost 50,000 rupees, please give donation, right? Nowadays in Maharashtra, in certain districts, certain districts have got impacted adversely by flood, right? So a lot of people have actually been doing social service there, but then at the same time, a lot of people are also trying to take advantage of the situation by asking people to give donations. Now, some of them, what they are doing is that they have started this new business. So they will accept donations from people, right? Which is all white money, all legitimate money. but the purpose is to, convert their own money into white money by showing that they are doing a legitimate business, right? Unfortunately, real estate has also been one particular area where a lot of people, they utilize black money. I'm sure you would have, heard of some situations wherein some people, when they sell a property, they may want some amount of money to be paid in cash, right? Similarly, using third-party checks for investments. So as I told you, I would want you to, pay a check in my name, or let's say, I would use your check to invest money in the mutual funds, and I will give you cash, right? So I have got my investment, and I've been able to dispense with my black money, right? So I have been able to convert it into white. I have been able to launder money. Similarly, investor investing money in some other city where nobody knows him. So I come to Chennai, for example, because nobody in Chennai knows me. Right? Now, of course, I have so many friends, like you. But then I'm just giving an example. I go to some other city where nobody knows me, right? So I try to put this money in the. I try to invest my cash, right? So that could again be an attempt. Any question till now? Whatever we have discussed, any question, anything which may not have been clear. Now, why am I discussing it with you? See, as you will see later on, unfortunately, this particular effort to launder money would make the country become weaker, right? It would really be adversely impacting our economy. Our government will not be able to get taxes, which it should be getting for the income. Plus, this money could be used for financing of terrorism. How can me and you play a role here? A, we should always avoid any such, emotional appeals which are made by anyone who appears as a friend, who tells you that you take cash from me and, give me a check. I mean, we should not get into this thing, right? No matter how good a friend this person may be. Let's straight away tell him or tell her that, sorry, I don't want to get into that. I have been doing that, right? Because see, you and me together, we make this nation, isn't it? Similarly, let's try and minimize the use of cash. Trust me, for the last 6 months, I have not withdrawn cash from my bank account. Right? All my transactions are through UPI or debit card. Right? So I pay to my car cleaner also through bank account, to newspaper vendor also through bank account, all the shopkeepers, vegetable, milk, everything is digital transaction. Right? So we should try and avoid cash. Okay, so let's learn about how does it actually happen, right? We have discussed examples, but then let's say if it is getting into the banking system, then how will it impact the country? Okay. So first to understand, this money laundering is actually a process of 3 parts, right? So first we have discussed that money laundering means that it's a process by which illegal funds or assets are converted into legitimate funds and assets, right? Now, how does it happen? The first step is called as placement. Placement means that I am putting in cash into the banking system, right? I am introducing the unaccounted money or the dirty money into the financial system. For example, let's say I request you to pay my bills, my electricity bills, let's say, right? So let's say my electricity bill is 5,000 rupees. I request you to pay to the check to the electricity company, and I give 5,000 rupees cash to you, right? Now you think that you've not lost out because you paid through check and you got cash, right? But your money is legitimate money, it's official money, it's clean money. Now, when you use my dirty money in the market, or when you spend that money, you have now introduced this black money into the system, right? So when shopkeeper will get money, shopkeeper may invest that money or put that money in the bank account. So this is how money has got into the system. That's placement, right? Now, through you, it goes to the shopkeeper. Through shopkeeper, it goes to someone else. Through that person, it goes to someone else, blah, blah, blah. So there are multiple transactions wherein the original source of money is lost, right? So ultimately, through multiple transactions, the original source cannot be traced. Who got this money, right? Just look at WhatsApp. So when we get forwarded message, we send it to someone else sends it to someone else. Ultimately, you never know who was the original source who created this WhatsApp message, right? The same happens with this dirty money which gets into the system, right? That's what is called a layering. Now it's got into the system, financial system. So whatever investments were to be done have been made, and thereafter the person would be able to get the amount officially, legitimately through the investment company. It could be bank, it could be insurance company, it could be mutual fund, it could be stock exchange, whatever, right? So now this money has become clean. It's got laundered, it's got washed, right? So the most critical thing is this money getting into the financial system, first thing, and then the layering. So through multiple bank accounts, through different intermediaries, through different sources, the entire loop becomes undiscoverable, right? Let me give an example to you. Okay, we'll come to it in the next slide. So money laundering follows 3 stages as we discussed. First is placement. So it gets into the system, right? I dispose the cash. So I give it to you, for example, cash, and then you spend this money in the market, right? And then layering, multiple transactions through the shopkeeper to wholesaler, from the wholesaler to the company, from the company to the bank account, etc. Right? And then the last thing is ultimately it gets laundered, right? So when the person gets a maturity from insurance, mutual fund, it's now clean money, absolutely clean, right? So layering example is this movie came, Three Idiots. I don't know whether you saw or not. So in the remake, Tamil, have you seen the Tamil remake of the movie? What's the name? The Tamil remake of Three Idiots. Do you know the name? Anyone? You guys don't watch movies? Okay, it's called as Nanpan or Nanpan, whatever. Right? Sorry, I may have mispronounced it. I have written Nanpan. Okay, so this movie. Okay, now in this movie there is a scene. So actor Vijay, what he does is that because the professor is not taking the papers, right? he mixes up everything, right? So everything gets mixed up, and you cannot make out, whose question papers, whose answer sheets were those, right? So this is actually what happens in case of the black money also. Okay. All right. Okay. So you tell me, what are the consequences of money laundering? What could be the consequences? Yes, please. What could be the consequences? Okay, so it finances terrorism. See, actually, this all started after 9/11. So when 9/11 happened in US in 2001, when the World Trade Center was attacked, right? Then ultimately they found out that drug money and all this crime money was one which was being used to fund the terrorists, right? So that is when the government started to take actions to make sure that the source of this money laundering itself was stopped. Okay. Secondly, it undermines the financial system. It makes a mockery of the financial system, isn't it? It expands the crime. Obviously, if crime is rising in the society, it would adversely affect all of us, isn't it? Plus, government loses the revenue. See, how can government fund all the welfare activities? So first of all, congratulations to all of us. We won gold medal on Saturday, right? Neeraj Chopra won gold medal for us. But just imagine, all of us would have been thinking, why can't we produce more gold medals, right? So obviously, we would want our sportsmen to be encouraged, sportsmen to be supported, right? Now, how will the government be able to do that when the government gets enough money as taxes? But if people are not paying taxes, or they're not paying appropriate amount of money as taxes, then ultimately it would be affecting all of us. It was. Okay? So if the government loses revenue, definitely it would be adversely affecting us. So now, how is it that the governments are attempting to curb this money laundering? Right? So first is identifying the customer, right? Who is the person who is depositing money? Who is this person who is investing money? Right? Governments are trying to make sure that the cash is limited to a certain amount. Governments are trying to make sure that there is a paper trail available. There is a complete record available. Who deposited money? Where did it go to? So let's say you deposit. I deposit money to your account. You will deposit money to somebody else's account. Somebody else will deposit money to another person's account. So it is all traceable, isn't it? So you can trace who put money where. Imagine if this was untraceable. Right? So there are laws which have been created whereby only bona fide clients of the customers of the banks and financial institutions, only they can invest money. Right? It's not that I go and I put money. It's not somebody else who goes and puts money. There have to be it has to be selection of players. So that's a different topic, madam. We'll maybe talk later about it. So it's important that the system is such that nobody tries to do anything wrong, and that's what governments are trying to do now, so as to make sure that there is proper trail available, proper records available. Similarly, today, income tax department can get complete information from your bank account, right? Today, when you deposit money, income tax department knows that so much of money is for deposited. So let's imagine that you deposit a huge amount of money. You do not pay tax on that, or you do not show that amount in your income. Income tax department will ask you. How will income tax department get to know about it? Because your bank is linked to your PAN card, your PAN card is linked to your Aadhaar card, right? So government knows everything. Today, it is not possible for anyone to try and cheat the system, right? And this is not just happening in our country, this is happening worldwide, right? So law authorities know about it, and we also know that they know about it. So it's not possible for us. Yes, madam, digitalization, right? Okay. So this started in the year 2002 when this bill was introduced in the parliament. It was called as Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, unfortunately, it took some time to get passed as an act. The bill was introduced in 2002, but it came into force in 2005, right? So this became an act in 2005, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, PMLA Act. So the main act under which all anti-money laundering provisions are applicable to is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Just remember that although it got enforced from 2005, the bill was introduced in the parliament in the year 2002. So this is called as PMLA Act 2002. Right. Now, just like we have CBI, we have Enforcement Directorate, right, to investigate into any crime, to check about anything which is anyone is trying to do something wrong. From the perspective of any suspicious financial transaction, the enforcement agency is called as Financial Intelligence Unit India, FIU India. Right? Now, what does it mean? Just imagine that you are a banker. Okay, now you know me very well because I am a customer of yours, right? Now somebody tries to deposit 2 lakh rupees in the bank account, and this person is depositing 2 lakh rupees in multiple transactions, right? Let's say 49,999. So I am trying to do 4 transactions of 49,999. Now you are a banker, you get to know about it, you find this to be suspicious transaction. What you are supposed to do is you are supposed to inform FIU India, right? You will inform FIU India that someone is, this person XYZ, whatever, PAN number so and so, he has been attempting to deposit this much money in cash in so many transactions, right? So you are doing your job because that's what you're supposed to do. So you are supposed to report any suspicious transaction to the government, right? So FIU India is the authority which is supposed to enforce this. Now, FIU gets complete information from all the intermediaries, banks, mutual funds, insurance company. When I was the regional manager for an insurance company, right, after this act came into being, there were quite a few times when we got information from our head office asking me to, have it checked, wherein a customer may have paid a premium of 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, right? So I was asked to look into it. So I used to conduct an investigation. We used to find out, we used to meet the customer. We used to find out what are your sources of income. And many times it used to happen that the customer sometimes it happened that the customer used to say that I have got agricultural income, I've got this income, and they used to give documents. So we then used to send these documents to our corporate office, right? Because banks, insurance companies, mutual funds, they are supposed to inform the FIU India in case they notice any suspicious transaction. So they are also supposed to inform police, income tax, and other enforcement agencies as well. So FIU then will inform police, income tax, etc. And as they say, the law will take its own course. Okay. So this is applicable to all financial institutions, banks, mutual funds, insurance companies, stock broking, stock exchanges, everyone, right? NBFCs. So what are the suspicious transactions? Where the income level may not be adequate in line with the amount invested. Somebody's income is 20,000, 30,000, but this person is doing large transactions. Right? Somebody, this transaction appears to be a very complex one. Right? So this person says that I got it from my aunt, and my aunt gave it to my wife, and my wife gave it to me. All those kind of answers, right? So say when someone is trying to do something wrong, obviously this person will try and defend, no, and this person will give excuses. Okay? Again, the source of money could be dubious, right? Plus, it's also quite possible, that this person tries to pass on non-standard income proofs, right? Maybe this person says that, okay, my ID proof is my school ID card or my college ID card, right? Or maybe some ID card, whereas this person may have fudged that particular document, right? So obviously this person may not want to get traced. So what he tries to do is he tries to hide the identity by giving some wrong ID card or ID proof. So what are then AML and AML or combating the financing of terrorism provision? So all these things, what we are going to be learning about, they are all anti-money laundering initiatives or combating financing of terrorism initiatives. So CFT is referred to as combating the financing of terrorism. Generally, AML and CFT, they are used as terms simultaneously. In India, AML is more popular. US and all, CFT is more popular. But in India also we use CFT. Now, the first thing is know your customer. So today you cannot open a bank account without giving your photograph, without giving your documents. And I am sure in your colleges also, when some student is wanting to get admission, you would be asking for all these documents. Don't you? Please write in the chat box. Don't you do that? I'm sure there would be clear processes. You would have been asking for documentary evidence, right? That my name is so and so. So the Aadhaar card or PAN card or all these documents would be required. Yes or no? So the first thing is internal policy, procedures, and appropriate control. So every company is supposed to follow, the processes. So they have been asked to follow processes. So there are clear internal policies, procedures, and control mechanism to make sure that the system gets followed and implemented. Right? Every company is supposed to have a principal compliance officer, right? To make sure that the anti-money laundering provisions are getting practiced properly. So the principal's officer responsibility it is, right? This person could also be a compliance officer. Right? Plus, all the employees and intermediaries, they are supposed to be trained on AML provisions. All the bank employees, all the mutual fund employees, all the intermediaries, they are supposed to be trained. Right? Know your customer KYC. These processes need to be implemented, not just for new customers, but also existing customers. Right? For example, it is quite possible that I may have opened my bank account 20 years back. Now, at that time, PAN may not have been mandatory, so I may not have given my PAN card. Now, the bank account would want me to give my PAN card also. So it's now become mandatory. All the KYC processes need to be complied with for existing customers as well. Again, KYC is applicable for agents, vendors, employees, associates, beneficial owners, everyone, right? So let's say as a training services provider, I am a vendor to many colleges, to many other institutions, right? When I deal with them, I'll have to give my documents to them, right? Because they would want to validate my identity. They would want to make sure that I am actually the person who's doing business with them, right? I cannot give my wife's bank account number. I cannot give my child's bank account number for payment. I need to give my bank account. So they would ask for cancelled check copy also, so as to confirm that this account number which I am giving is my account number. Right? Again, banks also need to do a risk profiling of the customer, complete things. Right? Remember, we learned about risk returns and liquidity. So every customer has a certain risk profile. So the insurance companies, mutual funds companies, they would do risk profiling also. Okay. Similarly, they would ask. You would have seen in form there's a column which says what's your annual income, right? So up to 2 lakhs, 2 to 5 lakhs, 5 to 10 lakhs, 10 to 20 lakhs. So you have to mention your source of income, right? You have to give them an idea. On that basis itself, let's say I have mentioned my source of income as 10 lakhs. Example. Okay. Now, if I deposit 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 35 lakhs, or whatever amount, obviously they may find it suspicious, no? That this person's source of income is 10 lakh. How is it that he is depositing such a big amount? Right? Again, the provisions, they specify these suspicious transactions, right? So there is a very clear documentary, set of procedures which would support those people who are in the banks, who are managing the system, to make sure that they know what are suspicious transactions, so that the customer is not harassed also. No, it's not that it's on the mood of the banker. So suppose I don't, let's say, for example, let's say I have had a fight with you, right? Now you are my customer. Okay, so I say that, okay, now I will create problems for you. And you deposit some amount and I report that to FIU as a suspicious transaction. No, there are clear processes which are, right? Nobody can try to use it just to harass someone. Again, these things are being monitored, right? So these are being monitored on a regular basis. All right. So KYC need to be updated, right? As per the provisions of PMLA Act. Now, KYC, whether it is for bank accounts or, so for example, you cannot open your mutual fund. You cannot do mutual fund investment unless you get KYC done, right? So who will do KYC? These are the KYC registration agencies, KRAs. For example, CAMS Online is there. CAMS is a Chennai based company. Their head office is in Chennai. Computer, management systems. I'm sure you may be aware about it, right? CAMS is one KRA. Carvi is another one, right? So they are all registered with SEBI. Okay. Now this needs to be done only once. It's not that every time you invest money, you have to get your KYC done. Once you got your KYC done and your KYC is verified, sorry, you can invest money whenever you want. Right? But once you will have to get it. Today, some mutual fund companies, they also allow in-person verification, can be done digitally, right? So you can initiate it digitally, then someone will come to your home and would verify, would take your picture, would verify all the documents, right? Similarly, whether it is bank, even for SIM cards, and I'm sure you would be aware, if you want to take a SIM card, you need to get KYC done, right? So just an example. So UTI mutual fund, it allows you to complete a digital KYC. Right? So you can go to UTI mutual funds website and get the digital KYC done. So the camera will take your picture, right? So you have to give permission to camera to take your picture, and so obviously camera will verify, those people will verify whether this is a photograph of the same person or not. So they will verify with the PAN card picture. Right? So it's not that I ask you to sit in my place and the KYC will be done. That's a different thing altogether. Okay. So this is the form of Indian bank, just to show to you for a bank account also. So as you could see, full KYC compliance is required. Right? Photograph has to be there, complete details, Aadhaar number, all those things are required. All right. So what is FIU India? So FIU India is the AML regulator in India. So this was set up under the PMLA Act itself. It came into being in 2004, right? And it has been given the authority to get all the information from the financial institutions. Any suspicious transactions which they get, which they are suspicious of, are supposed to be intimated to FIU India. Okay, so it's an independent body which reports into the Economic Intelligence Council, headed by the Finance Minister. So Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, as we know, is the Finance Minister. So Economic Intelligence Council reports into her, right? So FIU reports into the Economic Intelligence Council. So all the businesses related to financial transactions, they get any suspicious ones, they get reported to FIU. So this is the website of FIU. So fiuindia.gov.in. And as you could see, the mission to provide quality financial intelligence for safeguarding the financial system and abuses of money laundering, terrorism financing, and other economic offenses. Right? FIU India. Okay, now worldwide, all the countries together, they have created a Financial Action Task Force, FATF, right? FATF, actually came on the scene in 1989. See, at that time, terrorism wasn't the focus area. At that time, drugs and all that was a focus area, right? Terrorism, the focus came into being after the 9/11 attack. Okay? Although we were impacted by terrorism, it was active in Punjab in the 80s. So in India, definitely was unfortunately impacted by it. But then the world was not thinking about it much, right? So G7 countries, they took the initiative of setting up FATF, and it came into being in 1989. The purpose was to develop policies to combat money laundering, right? And at that time, the main purpose of combating was making that of avoiding that money get into the drug system. So the mandate was expanded in 2001 after 9/11 to include terrorism also. Okay. Now, India became member of FATF quite late in the year 2010. So we became member of FATF, rather we were included in FATF in 2010, right, as a 34th member country. So this is what it is, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATF. Okay. Now what is FATF? Sorry, I beg your pardon. FATCA, FATC, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. Now, countries like US, UK, US, Canada, etc., they have, tax system wherein they are saying that if any US or Canadian Canadian citizen has any income from India or any other country, right, they would want information about it. Which means if any US or Canadian citizen wants to invest money in India, right, then they have to give a declaration whether they are US or Canadian citizen or not and give their details. Now, which means that our tax authority, our government, will have to inform them that XYZ person, your citizen, has invested this much money in India. Right? So that is what FATCA is all about. So this is citizens of those countries, they have to give details while investing in our country. Okay, so this is what Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act and Common Reporting Standards. CRS stands for Common Reporting Standard. So they have to give details pertaining to their place of birth, city of birth, country of citizen, nationality. Is the investor's tax, do they have any other country's citizenship also? Complete details, right? And if there is any, just like we have Aadhaar, they may have their tax identification number or residency number, blah, 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 blah. So all these details need to be given, right? That's what FATCA is all about. So just an example, this is what that declaration is an example of. Okay, so they have to give complete details. Which country are you a citizen of? Where were you born? What's your residence for tax purposes? right? What's your tax identification number? Which country? When was it issued? Where was it issued? Blah, 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 blah. Just like we give our PAN ID, our Aadhaar number, all that. They have to give all these details. And our government would be sharing this with their tax authorities. That's what the understanding between the countries is. Okay, so this is what we learned in terms of AML provisions, right? We learned about what money laundering is all about. We learned about the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. We learned about the anti-money laundering and the combating financing of terrorism provisions. We also learned about Financial Intelligence Unit, India, and we also learned about Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act and Common Reporting Standards. Okay. All right. So let us first check out the something which I wanted to share with you regarding debt. I'll share that with you first, and then hopefully by 3:35 we should be ready. 3:45 or at the most 3:40 we'll all be set for question answer session. Okay, so let me take you to an Excel sheet now. Any questions pertaining to AML? I'll be happy to answer. Any questions, please, related to AML? No question? Okay, fine then. So I'm taking you to an Excel sheet, right? And just a second, please. Okay, so I think I hope you can see an Excel sheet, right? So let us learn about that bonds which I said we will discuss on Monday. So bonds. Let me magnify this. I hope this would become easier now to read. Now, the bonds are promises, as I said. So when you are lending money to someone, right, this person is sort of giving you a promise that I will return it, I will give you interest payment, coupon payment, and after after certain number of years, I'll return the principal. Now, let's learn more about it. So let me give an example to you. So let's take an example that in the year 2018, you have, let's take a simple example that you have, bought a bond, right? You bought a bond and this bond is supposed to mature in 2021. Even though there are so many acts to control money laundering, the money laundering acts are transaction. So the thing is that, unfortunately, your message does not, carry your name. So I don't know whether you are sir or madam, but pardon me in case I'm making a mistake there. Fantastic question. I must appreciate that. See, the thing is that unfortunately, all these transactions or any effort to undermine the system or cheat the system happens because someone amongst us would be, collaborating, or we would have been contributing, right? Like I gave you this example Suppose I request you that you pay the power bills, the electricity bills by check, right? Because I am your friend, because you may be kind to me, you do not say anything, you do not feel bad about it. But actually, I may have been misusing your trust in me, right? You don't have any bad intentions, but I may have had bad intentions, and I may, do something which ultimately may not be benefiting the country, right? Similarly, let's say I am a professional, I might be a chartered accountant. Now, I am supporting my client. I think that I am doing the right thing because I'm supporting my client, but actually, I'm not doing the right thing. I may be a real estate broker, right? I facilitate transaction between two particular people. One is a seller, one is a buyer, right? The buyer says that, the seller says that you will have to pay this much money in cash. So let's say the seller is selling a property worth 50 lakh rupees, and he says that 5 lakhs of this amount would have to be in cash. 45 lakhs is what will be in check or direct payment to the bank account, right? Now, I am a broker and I am facilitating this particular deal between the buyer and the seller. Now, I may have been thinking that I am just doing my job, but actually, I may have been contributing to the system, right? Now, just imagine if each of us were to resolve that I will not let it happen, right? There's a story, and I'll be happy sharing this story with you. Once, what happened was that a grandfather and a small boy, they were walking on the beach. Let's say Marina Beach in Chennai. Right now, as they were walking along the beach, they found that there were a lot of fishes, right? Fishes who were lying on the shore, towards the shore, and they had got pushed through the waves, right? So they were on the shore, and of course they were struggling for breath because there was no water, right? And there were a lot of fishes which were dying. Now, the small boy, what he was doing was that as he saw any fish, he caught that fish and he threw it back into the sea, right? And he kept doing that. Whatever number of fishes he could lay his hands on, he used to catch that fish and throw into the sea. Now, his grandfather was quite surprised. He said, "How many fishes would you be able to save, my son? What difference would it make?" Right now, as he held one fish, right, and he threw back, because the grandfather had said, "What difference would it make?" He threw it back into the sea and said, "It makes a difference to this one." Right? Now, we may say that, it will not, I'm just a drop in the ocean. It will not make a difference much. But if each of us were to start doing it, it would make a phenomenal difference to the society. Right? Many a times we may see some crime happening, right? We may not say anything. We may see, for example, we may see a girl being ill-treated by someone. Okay, let's say in a particular college itself, we may come to know of some ragging happening. We may come to know of some girl being mistreated. Right now, some people may say that, how does it make a difference to me? I mean, this happens, blah, blah, blah. It's quite possible that a girl may have been at fault, because unfortunately, many a times the mentality of the society is such that they would straight away come to a conclusion that this girl may have done something wrong. But it's our duty to raise our voice. That's very, very important. So from our side, See, very simply speaking, there are always two things. One which is controllable at our end, one which is not controllable at our end. Right? Now, obviously, we may not be able to change the system. But just like that boy who was trying to push back each fish into the sea, whatever he could lay his hands on, he was trying to do whatever was possible at his end. The same way, whatever is controllable at our end, we can do that. Right? I don't know how much have I been able to answer your question, sir. All right. So let's discuss this. So let's imagine a situation that this bond is the face value of the bond is 10,000. Okay, and let's imagine that the coupon rate, right? The coupon rate is, for example, 6%. All right, the coupon rate is 6%. This bond is of 10,000 rupees, right? Which means I buy this bond of 6,000 rupees, okay, from the auction. So I pay 6,000 rupees, right? And then I get interest, sorry, not here, 2019, 2000, I get interest, right? So I get 600 rupees here. I get 600 rupees here, which is 6% of 10,000 rupees. And then here I get 10,600 rupees. Here, okay? Which means if I am holding on to the bond from 2018 till 2010, right? The yield to maturity will be 6%. Because I am holding on to the bonds, I will sell this bond only at the time of maturity. Right? My yield to maturity will be 6%. Okay? Now just imagine the system, this scenario, that now here is a bond which I had taken in 2018, right? It is maturing in 2021. The interest rate is, coupon rate is 6%, right? I had bought it for 10,000 because that's what the face value is. Now just imagine that the interest rate in the economy increases, right? Theoretically speaking, let's imagine that the interest rate now goes to 8%. Okay. Now this bond is giving me interest of 6%. If I were to invest money now, I would get 8%. So it's quite possible somebody will say that no, I don't want to carry this bond with me, or carry on with this bond. I would sell this bond, and now I will be able to get 8% rate of interest. Right? So I sell this bond. Many other people will also sell the bond. Right? So this way, the bond price will come down. Right? So that's why we said that when interest rates rise, the bond price will come down. Why will the bond price come down? Because more and more people now will want to buy that some other bond. They will want to get out of this particular bond because this bond is only giving 6% rate of interest. Right? Now let's imagine another scenario. Let's imagine a scenario that I buy a bond in the year 2016. Okay, this bond is of 5 years. 5 years, and imagine that this bond is giving me 8% rate of interest. Okay, so the coupon rate is 8%. Right? I bought it at the rate of 10,000 rupees, and the face value is also 10,000 rupees. Right? Now, it gives me 8% rate of interest. Now, just imagine that 2018, the interest rates came down, right, to 6%. 2018, the interest rates came down to 6%. Okay. Now, I am holding a bond which gives me 8% rate of interest. Nowadays, the bonds which are there, they give 6% rate of interest. So the demand for these bonds will increase. More and more people will approach me and give me this bond, give me this bond, give me this bond, right? And they will offer me a higher price for that, right? I might have bought this bond for 10,000 rupees, but now people may offer me, let's say, 10,050 or even 10,070 for this bond, isn't it? That is why we saw the bond price will go up, right? I bought this bond for 10,000 rupees. Now I can sell this bond off for a higher price, which means other than the interest earnings which I was having, there is a chance for capital gain also when the interest rates go down, right? So in case of older bonds, there is a chance for capital gains. Why? Because now in the market, the interest rates have come down. So more and more people would want to buy this bond because it is giving 8% interest, right? So because the demand will increase, because the interest rates have now come down, the bond price will go up, right? That's why we said that there is an inverse relationship between interest rates and bond prices. Okay? When interest rates go down, the bond prices go up. When the interest rates go up, the bond prices will go up. Okay? Is this clear? I hope there is no doubt. Is this clear? Just if you could write yes or no, it would help me. Is this clear or do you want more information? You may just write yes, Y or N, please. No answer? Okay, fine. Thank you, madam. I hope others are also of the same opinion. Okay, okay. Quickly speaking, I want to also share with you one thing. Let me write here. See, as I shared with you, if I am investing is 10,000 in a bond, right? Let's say in the year 2000, just to keep it simple, in 2018, right? I invest 10,000 rupees. Now, from an Excel perspective, right? In Excel sheet, the money has gone from my pocket, right? So I will say that I have invested minus 10,000. Because 10,000 rupees has gone away from my pocket, right? And in 2018, I have spent 10,000 rupees. I bought this bond, right? 2019, imagine that the interest rate is 8%. Okay. Sorry, 6%. We said it is 6%. So 2019, I get, after 1 year, I get 600. Right? How did I get 600? 600 is 6% of 10,000. 10,000 into 6%. So I get 600. Okay. 2020, again I get 6,600, sorry. Okay. 2021, I get 10,600. So my principal of 10,000 plus interest for that year. So I get 10,600. Now, because I've received money, this will come with a positive sign. When I pay money, it comes with a negative sign. Right? Now, so I paid 10,000 rupees in the first year and I received 600 rupees. I again received 600 rupees and I got 10,600. So what is my IRR? What is my internal rate of return? What is the actual rate of return which I incurred on this? Yield to maturity, because I held on to this bond, right? So that we can compute through an extra term called IRR, internal rate of return, right? So I will make a block of the entire amount, all these cells, okay? And I get 6%. So my yield to maturity, this is called as yield to maturity, is 6%. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now let's imagine a scenario. This example which we discussed, that I bought a bond in 2016 for 10,000 rupees, right? 8% coupon rate. Now now in 2016, the interest rates have gone down, right? So I am getting more and more attractive offers that I should be selling this bond to them, right? I hope you recall what we discussed. Okay. So in the year 2018, I sold off the bond to someone else. Okay. Now, how much did I sell off the bond to them? So just imagine someone else bought the bond, right? Someone else bought the bond for, let's say, sorry, wrong here. Okay, this tablet pen is creating problem. Sorry. All right. So suppose suppose you bought the bond for 10,100. Okay, you bought the bond for 10,100. Now, in your case, you bought the bond for 10,100, right? But at the end of the year, how much money will you get? So remember, the bond is giving that bond was giving 8% rate of interest, right? That bond was giving 8% rate of interest, isn't it? Although the interest rates came down, and then it was again you would have received 8% rate of interest, and again you would have received 10,800 because the coupon rate of the bond is higher. Okay, so ultimately this works out to, just a second, this there. All right, so I need to increase the decimal places. Yeah, so this is 7.61. Okay, which means I would not have sold it to you for 10,000 because then now the interest rates have come down 6%. So obviously I will not allow you to make a yield of 7.61. I'm not a fool, which means I would have sold it to you at a higher price, because then only the yield will be 6% only, right? So how does it work? Let's understand, how does price of bond get worked out in the secondary market, right? So the logic is very simple, that let's say you are paying 10,000 the year 2018, right? The bond prices have, the interest rates have come down, the prices of bonds have gone up. So how much should this bond ideally be priced at? What is it that I would be selling this bond to you at? Right? Now, just understand the logic. So the interest rate which I will be getting of 800 rupees will be received 1 year later on in 2019, right? So this interest rate which I'll be receiving would be received in 2019. I will not receive it in 2018, right? So I'll give a very simple example. If I give you 1,000 rupees today or 800 rupees today, versus I give you 800 rupees after 1 year, which is going to be more valuable for you? The one which I give you now or the one which I give you 1 year later on? Which one would you want? All right, madam. Virupaksha madam, I'll just explain. Thank you for asking. Let me repeat my question. Which one will be valuable for you? Whether I should give you, whether 800 rupees you will get today will be more valuable for you, or the one which you receive after 1 year? Yeah, today, of course, right? Isn't it? Because the value of 800 rupees received after 1 year would be less than today. Okay, so this is what it makes a difference. Okay, so which means, all right, let me first explain what madam asked, because we have limited time. Maybe we can again discuss this part, pricing of bond, in the after or tomorrow's session, or day after tomorrow's session. Okay, so madam, just to answer your question, let me explain it here. So let's say you invest in 2016. In 2016, you invest in a bond, right? The price of which is 10,000 rupees. Face value is 10,000. You will get 10,000 rupees at the end of 3 years or 5 years, sorry. Okay, this is supposed to mature in 2021. Now, the coupon rate is 8%. It gives you 8% interest. Okay. Now, in 2018, the interest rates come down, which means now the interest rate has gone down to 6%, right? When you bought the bond, the interest rate was 8%, which means now the bonds which will be issued, they will pay only 6% rate of interest. Okay. Now, because the interest rates have come down to 6%, this bond is giving me 8% rate of interest, right? So will the demand for this bond, will it become high or will it become low? Please tell me, madam. Will the price, will the demand for this bond be higher or will it be lower? Because interest rates have gone down. Yes, Dr. Virupaksha, madam. Will the demand for this bond be higher or will it be lower? Yeah, yield will go up because the interest rates. Okay, let me not explain. Let me not confuse. Others also. Let me stick to one particular point. Say, very simply speaking, the interest rates now have come down to 6%. The older bond is giving 8% rate of interest, right? Which means the demand for this bond will be up, will be high. Because the demand for this bond will be high, people will be willing to pay me a higher price for this bond. because this bond gives 8% rate of interest as against 6% which is there now. Because the demand will be high, right? When the demand is high, the prices go up, right? So the price for this bond will go up, which means when the interest rate goes down, sorry, when the interest rates go down, the price of bond goes up, right? Similarly, just imagine that you had a bond which was giving you 6% rate of interest, right? 2 years later, 3 years later, the interest rate goes up to 8%. Not working. Now the interest rate goes up to 8%, right? Which means then the older bond is giving you 6% rate of interest. Newer bonds give you 8% rate of interest. So will the bond, will the demand for this bond now be lower or will it be higher? Because the interest rates have moved up. Now will it be higher or will it be lower? Now the interest rates have gone down. So madam, now it will become lower because this bond is giving 6% rate of interest now. The newer bonds will give 8% rate of interest. So the demand for this bond will be lower. I also may want to get out of this bond, right? So supply will increase, demand is low, supply is higher. When demand goes down and supply goes higher, the rates will come down, right? So when the interest rates go down, the price of bond will go up. When the interest rates go up, the price of bond will go down. There is an inverse relationship. Just remember that seesaw, right? When one goes up, the other goes down. When this one goes down, the other one goes up, right? When interest rates go down, price comes down. When interest rate go down, price goes up, right? So this is how it works. I hope I have been able to answer this doubt, madam. Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay. Yield is simultaneously with interest. Thank you. All right. So let's clear the doubts which are there. Any doubts, please? I'll be happy to answer. Any doubts from the previous sessions? You may unmute your microphone in case you want to ask a question. Because chat may not be that convenient. You may ask a question. You may unmute yours, but kindly unmute yourself one by one, please. Because if everybody unmutes, then there would be a lot of echo and there would be a lot of disturbance. Any question? Effective yield. Okay. So this is what actually I was say what will happen practically is that when the price will rise, no. So when the interest rate goes down, right, the price will also go up, right? When the price goes up, the yield will reduce. The yield will ultimately, the interest rate that the yield you will get would be in line with the prevailing rates. So the interest, the yield will be 6% only. So again, just to repeat, you were holding a bond which was giving you 8% rate of interest, right? Now the interest rate comes down to 6%, right? Which means this bond will be in demand. People will be willing to pay a higher price for that. Now the price will start rising for this bond, right? It will keep rising till the time the yield comes to 6%, in line with the prevailing interest rates. The price of the bond will increase till the time the yield gets down to 6%. Right? Effective yield is what you are effectively getting ultimately. But remember the fact that this change in price will impact you only if you are selling the bond or if you are buying it in the secondary market. If you continue to hold the bond, it will not make any impact, right? Yes, if it was giving you 8% rate of interest, you will keep getting 8% rate of interest. If it was giving you 6% rate of interest, although now the interest rates may have gone up to 8%, you will still keep getting 6% rate of interest, right? You may neither have capital gains nor will you have capital losses because you are not selling it, right? You will have capital gains only when you sell it at a higher price. You will have capital losses only when you are selling it at a lower price. If you continue to hold the bond, it will not make any impact. This is what we shall learn tomorrow and day after. Maybe some part tomorrow, some part day after tomorrow. And I shall take you to moneycontrol.com. And we shall actually see how do we analyze the performance of a mutual fund? Where do we get data from? So in the next 2 day session, you will actually get to learn how to analyze the data, and whatever we would have learned over the last 5 days would practically get utilized tomorrow and day after. So the last 2 sessions of this program are very, very important ones, right? I would strongly urge you to please ask other colleagues also. Maybe I'll request Ganapati sir to inform the participants on the group also that they should not miss tomorrow and the after tomorrow's session. If you want to create wealth through mutual funds, if you want to know how to make informed decisions, if you want answers to all the doubts that you may have, right? Please do not miss tomorrow and the after tomorrow's session. Both these sessions are going to be very, very important one. See, I'll be very honest with you. Just like your students, right? You have a lot of knowledge. But ultimately, it's the student's job to get the knowledge out from you, isn't it? If you don't ask me questions, if you don't get your doubts cleared, ultimately it may not be my loss, right? The same way, while you may have been trying your level best to explain everything to your student, ultimately it's the student's job to get the most out of you, right? So I would urge you to, maybe look at some of the answers, your quiz, check out anything which you may not have understood about, and tomorrow you can get that clarified. Tomorrow and day after. Yeah, sir. How long to hold the bond? Very honestly speaking, again, it would depend upon what's the function, financial goal that you have. Because let's accept it. Tomorrow or day after we shall also learn about duration of a bond, duration and modified duration of a bond. How much do the interest rates change? How much does the price change considering the change in the interest rate, right? It depends upon the modified duration of the bond. So those of you who know about it would know what I am talking about, right? Ultimately, how long should you hold on to the bond would depend upon your goal. Honestly speaking, what I'm going to be recommending to you tomorrow and the after tomorrow is invest in line with the horizon of your goals. If your goal is 3 years, and let's say you are investing in low duration debt funds, then 3 years should be the horizon that you invest it for. If your goal is, let's say, one year, then you may, accordingly, you may invest in the money market funds or maybe the short duration fund. If it is, let's say lesser than that. So that is how it would be in line with your goal. So hopefully tomorrow and day after tomorrow, it will become very clear. Correlation with age would be more in line with the equity funds, because the risk in debt funds is different one. So what are the risks? Sorry, what are the risks with the debt funds? So the most important thing is credit risk, right? So that's one thing that you need to look at. You also need to look at the interest rate risk. So in case of bonds, because the changes in the prices of the interest would impact the prices of the bonds, right? So that is the interest rate risk which is there. There is reinvestment risk. For example, let's say you are investing in a particular fixed deposit which is giving you 10% rate of interest. You invested in it, let's say 10 years back. Now it is maturing, right? And you're getting your money back. Now you cannot find any other revenue wherein you could get 10% rate of interest. So that's the reinvestment risk which is there. Again, there could be liquidity risk, right? So for example, you may have invested in any particular scheme where you cannot get your money before that period. For example, non-convertible debentures, right? You may not be able to sell it in case you want to get your money before the scheduled maturity date. So that's the liquidity risk which is there. So if we understand the concept, it will really make a lot of difference to us going forward. Any other question? Thank you, madam. Looking forward to everybody. Just if you know, I'm sure many of you would be knowing other people also who are participating in this particular session. You may just send them a message saying that please do not see. I understand you may have many other responsibilities that you are taking care of related to your college. It could be maybe your periods in the colleges, your lectures, or maybe your personal work would be there, family. See if you could attend tomorrow and the after sessions. It will be good. Anything else, please? Any other question? Yeah, I'll share the link for today's quiz. Okay, so here you are. Okay, before you attempt the quiz, a humble request from my side. Believe you me, yesterday it has taken me a very long time to compile the scores. Reason being, can you listen to me before you attempt the quiz, please? Just 2 minutes. Lot of people, either they put in space against the name which was not there earlier, or they put in a different email ID than the one they were putting earlier, or there was some spelling mistake which was there. So manually I had to calculate it, and it took a lot of time of mine. A humble request to you, please do not resubmit the answer. I had requested that the answers are there, please. Okay, by the way, today the quiz may not have the answer. I just recalled that I forgot to click that option. Okay, but please do not resubmit it, because I'll only be taking those answers which get received first. Secondly, please read the answer options before submitting. I mean, day before yesterday in the quiz, in case of bonds, the question on how do the bond, prices get impacted with the change in interest rate. I was actually thinking of what put in option number 4. So I just said, I just wrote, it depends upon the mood of the bonds, whether the prices would want to go up or prices would want to go down. I was actually thinking that people will laugh at it and nobody will click it. But surprisingly, 14, 14 people still clicked on that option, right? I'm sure they would have done that by mistake. Please read the option before answering. Okay, that's these 2 requests are there. Please do not resubmit the answer again. Please put the mail ID name correctly, full name, what you've been putting, the same. Looking forward to meeting you again tomorrow. Hope you found today's session to be useful. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Hope you also did that.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
We all thank you for this wonderful session. Certainly, your session goes a long way in inspiring us to strive hard and achieve more. Thank you, sir. There is an end to everything, but we believe that there is never an end, but always a beginning. Thus, to conclude, for today's, I request Tyagarajan sir, Associate Professor, Department of Business Management, to render the vote of thanks. வரவே இல்லை தியாகராஜன் சார்.
I think he's having some network connect. Can you please proceed, ma'am? Mic work on the sound.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, very good evening to all. It's given me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this program to all the dignitaries, those who have been assembled here. I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Ravindra Singh Chawla, founder and managing director, RS Skill Buildings and Consultancy LLP, who honored this program with inspirational speech. Today's topic is laundering money service, and I would like to thank our beloved correspondent, Dr. Mr. P. Venkatesh Raja sir, and I would like to thank our principal ma'am, Dr. Malavi Selvakumar, and also I would like to thank Director ma'am, Sai Satyavari ma'am, and beloved staff members, participants, and volunteers, and but last but not least, our beloved students. I thank to everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Looking forward to again meeting you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Poonamallee.